youth in the participation in terms of how we craft our policies. So we cannot do the other thing. We need to listen to you. You need to understand what you want in terms of your goals and your aspirations. Our responsibility as a government is find the best way of delivering that service. And that is why we would like to listen, understand what you say, sometimes have to clarify what you're trying to say, and find the best ways of bringing solutions, because we believe in solving problems and improving lives. That is our fundamental role as a government. But we have to do many things at the same time. We have to ensure that we protect our democracy. And you know that you have a president and a party in government that you can depend on to hold free, fair, and regular elections. You can depend on this government or this party in government to follow the rule of law. You can depend on this party in government to ensure that they protect people's freedoms and their rights. And you can depend on this government or this party in government to ensure that we ourselves obey the Constitution. You can depend on us for that. And that predictability builds trust, it builds confidence, and it strengthens the partnership. You live in a very mature democracy. Many of you have left Guyana because you did not see any hope. You were able to go, build your families, build your businesses, build your careers. But now it's our turn. Our turn to build Guyana. This is our first industrial revolution. We need all hands on deck. And we need your support. Because we have political independence. We know that you can rely on us to provide you good governance, but we also have to achieve independence in terms of our economy. We have to have economic independence. And that is why the President will continue to explain to you what our diversification is all about. Because that is what we need. We have the people, which is our valuable resource, and we have to transform the economy so that we can achieve our economic independence. So what we want to do? We're trying to achieve resilience, prosperity, security, and liberty. And we have to do it with your support, with your participation. Because at the end of the day, we will spend and spare no resource to ensure that our social pillars are strong. That is why our emphasis on education and health are important to us. We're breaking down all barriers. All the structural barriers that were in place, we're breaking them down. So when we speak about the One Guyana initiative, it is all-encompassing. It's political participation and inclusion, it's economic participation and inclusion, it's social inclusion, which will give us the strength to move on and grow as an economy. We're doing big things in Guyana. We're getting a lot of recognition internationally. You've seen the visits of the President of the United States. You've seen the responses from all the heads of states around the Caribbean and beyond. You have a president that you can trust. You have a president that is a people person, is people focused, is people centered. And he is there with God's blessing to lead us, to take us to the next level. We have a party with depth. We have diversity that reflects what Guyana looks like. So when you hear about the noises coming from other political forces, don't believe the lies. Don't be distracted. We have a solid cadre of representatives who understand what Guyanese want, who understand how to deliver, and we are united. So please don't be distracted. Stay focused, continue to follow the President and his work. Continue to stay connected because we want to remain connected with you, and we will work together to build Guyana into the Guyana that we want it to be. So all of the dreams and aspirations you have had, we can realize that now. We have to put our minds together, put our hearts together. We can depend on a democratic-minded leader and government which will allay all of your fears. So working with us will allow you to make our best contribution to them. Thank you very much.
Guyanese Diaspora here, starting in Central Florida, have been leading the forefront, opening businesses, having cultural events, keeping the Guyanese culture alive. And so we want to thank you guys here. Give yourselves a round of applause for always staying true to the Guyanese. Before I introduce the president, I just want to make sure that everything is set. All right. So, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali, President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, was born in Guyana as the son of is one of two sons of his parents who are both educators. He was born on April 25th, 1980. We have a very young president, exactly. Into a Muslim Indo-Guyanese family at the West Coast. His early education started at the Nora Nursery and Primary Schools and progressed to the Cornelia Ida Primary School, while he completed his secondary education at St. Stanislaus College in Georgetown. Dr. Ali is the holder of a doctorate in urban and regional planning from the University of the West Indies, a Master of Arts degree in manpower planning, a postgraduate diploma in international business, a postgraduate certificate in finance from Anglia Ruskin University Anglia Ruskin University, an LLM degree in international commercial law at the University of Salford, and a Bachelor of Arts degree in business management from the University of Sunderland. Honorary. He was also a member of the Canadian Institute of Management and Project Management and is a project management professional. He previously served as project manager of the Caribbean Development Bank's Project Implementation Unit in the Ministry of Finance and was Senior Planning and State Planning Secretariat. He became a member of the National Assembly of Guyana in 2006 and was subsequently appointed to the portfolios of Minister of Housing and Water and Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce. During his time at the Ministry of Housing, he implemented the most extensive endowment campaign in the history of Guyana, backed by a massive distribution of plots to citizens of all social strata and geographic regions. In the National Assembly, Dr. Ali was also a leading spokesperson on economy and finance. He served as chair of one of the most important committees, the Public Accounts Committee, and co-chair of the Economic Services Committee of the Parliament of Guyana. Dr. Ali is married and is a father, and I do want to say His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Irfaan Ali was sworn in as Guyana's 9th Executive President on August 2nd, 2020. And I would like to invite you to stand and join us in our warm welcome to
Thank you very much, very kindly. Please, have a seat. It is a great honor and a privilege to be here among you today to share with you some insights. I do not like to be so high up. I prefer to be on the same level with you, the people. I want to start by examining a concept or two words used by our wonderful chairperson, and that is the Guyanese culture. What is the Guyanese culture? Not asking what is the Indo-Guyanese culture, the Afro-Guyanese culture, the Portuguese culture, the Chinese culture, the Amerindian culture. What is the Guyanese culture? You see, we are a land of 6 people. We are a land that is diverse and rich in every sense. From natural resources, rich in culture, rich in history, and rich in tradition. It is when we combine the totality of the richness that exists in our land and bring it together in a comprehensive whole, then is when we can truly understand what the Guyanese culture is. And that is why, in defining the concept of One Guyana, I've been spending a lot of time communicating and listening, refining and defining what is the embodiment of the Guyanese culture. When we say we are one people, we are one nation, and we want destiny, it is a very strong words. One people is not defined by ethnicity. One people means we are one collective whole. One destiny means that we have one collective destiny. We either go forward together or we stay backward together. One nation is not 6 different people living separate. One nation is the collection of 6 people living under the umbrella of one Guyana. That is where we're going. That is the answer. And unless we understand this concept and appreciate this, look, the facts are very clear. There's many hurt in the society. Many of the older folks will tell you what we went through. It is true. But that is the experience that must cause us to heal in a unified way in presenting a common platform under one Guyana through which prosperity must come to all the people of our country. The last 2 years has not been an easy road. For me, people of Guyana, but more importantly, the people of the world. All of us, whether you're from the most developed or the least developed country, the last 2 years, the last 3 years were treacherous years. Many of you can point to persons you lost in the pandemic. Many of you know how difficult it was to worry about your children being exposed to the pandemic that can cause their death, your parents being exposed to the pandemic. And sometimes we fail to appreciate the world we just came out of. But we're not totally out of that world as yet. Because none of us understand truly what the long-term effect of COVID will be. That is another story that I will not impress you with. But the world as we know it has changed substantially in the last few years. And the world as we know it today is going to change in a massive way in the next 10 years. Unless we build a country and a system that allows us to develop a framework that would allow us to succeed 10 years from now, we're preparing our countries for failure. So the investments that we're making now must be investment that is preparing the population, preparing the country, and preparing the economy for what is to come in 10 years. That is important. Very, very critical in the development path that we're taking. Let us examine the world in which we live today. As a result of COVID, 97 million people more are living on less than $2 per day. Sometimes we look at COVID and we say, oh, we only associate COVID with the death and the health effects. But as a direct result of COVID, 97 million people around the world are living, additional, are living on less than $2 per day. Global poverty has increased from 7.8% to 9.1% between 2020 and 2021. This is as a direct result of COVID. The global poverty rate moved almost 2 percentage points as a result of COVID. The world has seen the worst form of worsened inequality. The access to vaccine has been the most uneven distribution. There are many countries in Africa that still does not have 2% access to vaccine, whilst you have countries around the world dumping vaccines. This is an inequality that exists in the society we live in. In Guyana, we took some very innovative measures in dealing with COVID-19 pandemic. When we came to government, there was not a single bed. I'm not talking about hospital. There was not even a single bed prepared for a single COVID patient. In 7 days, we prepared an entire hospital for COVID patients in Ghana. And we pursued a path in which we wanted the society and the economy to continue whilst we take the necessary health precautions and measures. And today, many of the international donor community, many international associations and organizations, not only have they commended Guyana on the management of COVID, but they are looking at what we did as some form of best practice in the management of this pandemic. From day one, when we came to the government, we went after the vaccines. We were told by Pfizer and all the other big vaccines that the developed world was using that yes, we can supply you vaccines, but you must wait 2 years in the line. We made a decision as a government, we are not going to wait, we have to get the vaccines now. Through our bilateral relationship, we were able to get into the UAE and get them to sell us vaccine from what they had in their supply. And that is what helped us. We were among the first country in the developing world and among the top countries in the developed world that had vaccines ready for our citizens in Guyana. Because as far as we are concerned, there is no price that you can attach to health. There is no price that you can attach to education, and I'll get to those subjects a bit later. The second crisis facing the world is that of food security. Food insecurity in 2020 equal the collective 5 years prior to 2020. So the insecurity in food security in 1 year equal the collective effect of food insecurity for 5 years prior to 2020. You think you have a problem with COVID? Brace for what is coming on food insecurity in the world. And it's just getting worse. Not only is the war in Ukraine going to make it worse in the supply chain crisis. But the devastation, the floods in Pakistan, the drought in Europe, the supply is getting slimmer and slimmer. This is another major problem coming at us like a tsunami, the issue of food security. The number of persons facing hunger in the last 2 years alone, the number of persons facing hunger globally increased to 9.9%. The world food prices is at an all-time high, 8% higher than it was last year, as I speak to you now. And last year was higher. The global cereal production is projected to decrease by 1.4%. This is going to even make problems worse. And to add to this, as a result of the war in Ukraine, there is an export ban on rice from India and wheat from Russia. This has contributed to a 12.3% and a 9% increase in the price for rice and sugar, rice and wheat on the global market. The ban on maize and soybean oil caused prices to increase by 14% and 6.1% on the global market. Now you might say, why am I telling you all of this? We're here for a Guyana Diaspora meeting. Guyana does not exist in isolation of the world. We are part of a global system. We import the inflation and we import the effect of the world in which we're living, in which things are going rapidly down the wrong spiral. But we cannot complain. We have to manage under these circumstances. We have to embrace these challenges and develop the strategies that will ensure sustainability, resilience, and prosperity. And this has been the approach of the government of Guyana. The third crisis that I speak of is climate crisis. A serious climate crisis is unfolding before us. But why do I raise these three issues? So there are three issues that confront the world today. A food crisis, a climate crisis, and an energy crisis. And I'm going to present to you today that Guyana has the possibility of becoming a leader in every single one of these crises. And that is where we are managing, and that is where we are leading the country. We want to position Guyana through the leveraging of our natural assets, through the leveraging of our natural competitive advantage, position Guyana in the front seat in all three of these. And we are very humble about this. We are very humble about this. We understand our responsibility in the world. We don't need anyone to lecture to us on our responsibility in this world. Because guess what? We have been safeguarding a forest the size of England for all our life, saving the world, being the lungs of the world. Whilst many took down their forests. And we are going to continue to safeguard that forest. And I'll tell you the value of that forest. Because if we are to get the legacy value of the carbon credit from that forest, we'll be very, very, very rich as a country. You know, I was told that we must avoid the dust disease. And we're going to avoid the dust disease because the dust disease is a curse. So oil is a resource, a very valuable resource. But they say that oil is a curse. It causes dust disease. But if you don't have resources, it's a curse too because you people in poverty. So resources is not the problem. It has always been the management of the resources. And for some reason, there seems to be some fictional understanding in the global community that once people fit into some specific frame, they're not capable of managing the resources. And you can trace the history from colonization coming all the way down, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Guess what? We are not fools. We understand that there are areas that we have deficit in that we must bring in the export. But whilst we do that, we must create an enabling environment in which we build the capacity within the country to take the sector forward. I'm going to talk to you about how we're going to do that. But no one must be. You know, sometimes I'm very, very frank speaker. You don't need to second guess me. What I tell you today, I'll tell you tomorrow. The most you can do is dislike me, but I still love you. The problem is, Guyana existed long before oil. Guyana has been making tremendous global contribution long before oil. Today, all the fancy newspapers and fancy writing outfits come to Guyana to write. And they have all the answers for everything. But I remind them that Guyana existed long before oil. Where were you? Where was your newspaper? Where was your magazine? So the fact is, don't fool yourself. Even those who believe that they're not driven by oil are driven for oil. Because they have the same relationship, they could write all the time about climate change. And let me address this issue one time. Because I will address it to you very quickly. There's some who believe that there's an end to fossil fuel. Yes, there must be a transition. We are all for a transition, but do not fool yourself. There is an immediate need for fossil fuel to drive the growth and development of our country. If you don't believe me, go to COP26 and listen to all those speeches that said it's a death of fossil fuel, and listen to them today. The narrative has completely changed. Some will say, no, pump as fast as you can, but pay your taxes. So guess what? In an effort to end this, they are making capital less available for investment in this sector. So it's driving up the cost. Guess who's going to face that challenge? The ordinary people. It's driving up the cost. But let me ask a very simple question. If we are saying to the world that we must not have any new entrants in the fossil fuel industry, no new country must come into the fossil fuel industry, what are you saying is that you're creating a monopoly to protect those who have been in the industry for the last 100+ years and benefited from the industry. It is nothing but creating a monopoly. It's a farce. It's a total farce. And some of our nationalists and patriots, they parrot these messages with no understanding of the meaning of the message. We are very responsible in what we do. We know that fossil fuel will not be here forever. But guess what? To build the economy that will give your children and the children of Guyana a better future, we need the revenue. Because let me tell you very clearly speaking, today, this morning, at 4:30, I read the latest report on flood-prone countries. And in that report, I saw that Guyana has 38% likelihood of a catastrophic flood. To avoid that, we have to build over 600 kilometers of sea defenses and earthen dams. Who's going to finance it? Who is going to finance it? The world cannot even come through with its pledge of $100 billion. That was pledged years ago for adaptation and mitigation. It is a developing world that continues to face the wrong end of the stick. When sanctions are imposed and you invade Ukraine, guess who suffered the most? The people in the developing world. The supply chain disruption. We had, when we came into government, let us understand what took place. When we came into government, we met a situation where the cost of transportation, of transporting one container from China to Guyana increased by over 1,000%. Moving a container from Miami to Guyana increased by over 700%. Imagine managing in a situation like that. Managing in a situation when you budget oil prices at $60 per barrel for the production of energy and electricity, and the real price is $110 per barrel. This is the real world. This is not Yahweh. This is dealing with real challenges and understanding real challenges in the real environment in which countries exist. So when we go to our diaspora, we want to be real with you. Unless we are willing to have the difficult conversations, the troubling conversations, the conversations that allow us to understand the magnitude of the challenge, but in that challenge, there lies great opportunity. So I wish now to move to great opportunities and how we are confront opportunities. Don't worry, I have a number of papers to go through with you. And I know, as true Guyanese, Saturday evening we spend a lot of time together. How are we building this country? And what are the key areas that we're focusing on? There are 10 things. 10 things. One, political stability. You cannot build a country if there is no political stability. We can't go through the same stress every single election. Therefore, the laws governing elections must be strengthened to bring justice and put those who are against democracy and the will of the people, the rule of law, behind bars. There must be accountability in the system. There must be transparency in the system. The future generation of Guyanese must not inherit this problem. So we are creating the legislative framework, and the constitutional consultation will start soon that will drive a system that will make people accountable for their actions. So political stability is uppermost. Then we have to deal with the efficiency of the government system, the efficiency in which we deliver service, the reliability of the service. Very important. We're not going to bury our heads in the sand. We know that there are challenges in the delivery of service. There are weaknesses in the delivery of service, and we have to fix it. We can't build a modern, transformative economy and country if we do not fix the inefficiency in the system, and we are working on fixing the inefficiency that exists in the system. We are moving towards the use of technology, making decisions. Yeah, I know, baby, you understand fully what I'm saying. We are moving in a direction in which we take away. Many times in the government system, people become inefficient because they have the ability to make a determination. They can exercise judgment on an issue. We are building a system in which the system works and things become automatic, and you remove that bias that is there in the system that people use to create inefficiencies in the system. The third plan is infrastructure transformation. We are rebuilding a country, but more importantly, the infrastructure is connected with the growth of the country. We're not building a road to nowhere. The infrastructure must bring new growth areas, new growth poles. That is why you see in Berbice, those of you who are from Berbice, now the land values skyrocket. Not only in Georgetown, the land value of the West Coast, West Bank, East Coast, East Bank, because people are understanding that there is great value coming to every single region. Region 10, Region 1, wherever, we are making the investment to catalyze growth and development, bringing opportunities to every single region. So the infrastructure is linked to the economic and social transformation of communities. The infrastructure is also linked to catalyze private sector investment. So some of the investment that we are making are leading to new hotels, new commercial hub, industrial hub. Thousands of people will be employed in these two areas. The face of the country is changing at a rapid pace. Very, very rapid pace. But the infrastructure must not be superficial. You know, you can easily get carried away and say, let us build a flyover every crest. You will not find that in this government. We are building infrastructure that is practical for the development of our country and people. Not infrastructure that is fanciful, that you feel good about. That leads to waste. Infrastructure that is practical and fit the development framework of our country. This is what we're doing. All of this cannot occur without the human resource transformation. Our human resource transformation is critical to the development story of our country. That is why we have just concluded some negotiations that will see, for the first time anywhere in the Western Hemisphere, every single primary school child leaving with training in coding. Training in coding, nowhere else in the Western Hemisphere. And every single secondary school child will be exposed to software development at an intermediate stage in secondary school. This is what we're building. A knowledge-based economy that is driven by technology and innovation. Just before I came here, we had the world leaders from MITs across the world, the developers of the Singapore model, Dar Group, all discussing and negotiating with us their interest in developing an innovation village in Seneca City itself. This is where your country is going. Building the jobs for the future. You think the passings you see at Anna Regina is accidental? There was a time in our country when people only from Region 4 could have achieved what people from Anna Regina, Region 9 and so on are achieving now. That is because of the diversified investment portfolio of the government in supporting every single region and every single child. There's not a single country that you can point to me that has not only free nursery, primary, and secondary education, but also soon we're going to move to fulfill the promise. When I say soon, we have 2 more years of free university education. But even before we do that, we are well on our way in delivering 20,000 scholarships to students all across the world from Ghana. We have perhaps one of the largest online learning platforms in the Caribbean right now, with students doing and distance learning. This is what we're doing. Show me a country. And by the way, you must be careful about the governments you choose. 2 years ago, the Because We Pay grant to school children was taken away. 2 years ago, uniform allowance was taken away. The hot meal program for every single school was taken away, especially in the hinterland. Guess what? In just 2 years, this government has returned every single one of that benefit to school children. And you know, when you understand the impact of these investments, social sector support is critical. Let me explain something to you. And this is when I get annoyed. Because in any system, there are vulnerabilities. But the government must balance its investment to create wealth with addressing the vulnerabilities that exist in the system. So we have to help those who are vulnerable. Otherwise, we'll have great inequality, and inequality leads to insecurity, violence, and the erosion of governance. There's an opposition leader that says this is handout. But let me explain by giving you one recent example of what that benefit means. One of the child that is among the top 10 performers in the CSEC exams, her father is one of those persons who is a part-time worker in one of these schemes that the government developed to help the vulnerable. Another one, father almost lost his sight completely and is being helped by the public assistance program. His child is among the top 10 in the country now, and they both said if it was not for the help that the parents received from the government, they had no opportunity at education. And today, they are top performers in the country and will be, I'm sure, in the Caribbean. So, unless we understand that development has no face, you see, from the time you put a face to development, you are not developing anything. What you're doing is doing a transaction. Because if you say we're going to help this community because they look this way, and help that community because they look that way, then that is not development. That is a transaction. Development is faceless. Development is about transforming and bringing opportunity to every single citizen of the country. That is what real development is. Then we have the diversified economic base. I told the guys to keep time now. We have a diversified economic base. Our country country is not about oil and gas. Let me make this very clear. We are building a strong agricultural sector to be a leader in food production in the world. We are working with young people and women now to develop a hydroponic city, the first of its kind in Latin America and the Caribbean. We are working on investing in hydroponics, shale house, to bring resilience and sustainability to the food production system that exists. We are building new farm-to-market growth to open up tens of thousands of new acreage of land for production of food. We recently passed the hemp legislation. Hemp is not marijuana. But the future that the world is heading to, industrialized hemp is going to be a main player. Because there's so many commodities in construction and everything else that comes out of the hemp industry. We have just passed the legislation to prepare Guyana to be a player in that new market in the future and now. Very lucrative market. This is the way we are building the country. We're talking about a new city, Silica City. Modern, sustainable, environmentally friendly. We're already unleashing the development plan, opening up new highways. Last night, the Vice President and I were in a long conversation whether we should actually go ahead with the plans to widen the existing New Amsterdam to Molson Creek Road, or we should just bite the bullet and go with a brand new highway now, opening up new lands from New Amsterdam to Molson Creek. We are on a road to transformation. The period of transformation is a period of building. It's a difficult period. The rewards of transformation comes after. Because when you can associate ownership and higher value with your land as a result of transformation, then you realize the individual and the collective benefit of what I'm talking about. Irfaan? Oh, Steve Banks, okay. Outside of economic and financial diversification is the issue of capacity building. Because of the rate of development and the scale of development, we are now operating at a different scale in Guyana. And we have to get the private sector developed to work at that scale. So today when you come to Guyana, you'll be shocked that if you go down the highway, you will see contractors are working 24 hours. You will see the application of the latest technology. 3D printers in building homes. Because the scale of development is so rapid that the absorptive capacity is not there to take the scale of development with us. And then we have to balance that. Because you do not want to create overheating, which can lead to hyperinflation. So it's not an easy task. This is a very delicate balance that we have to undertake as a government. So we have to build that capacity. Then we have to create a modern security architecture. Security is critical. People must feel safe, children must feel safe. So we are now working with international providers of technology. Nowadays, you see every time an accident occurs, or if there is a robbery or even a pickpocket, immediately the video is uploaded. That video is uploaded because we've invested in technology now. We are looking to have 100% CCTV coverage along the entire coast of Guyana to help the security architecture. In 3 weeks, In 3 weeks, we'll be launching our first ever electronic ticketing system that is supported by cameras along the new highway from Mandela to Eccles. You don't depend on the police to stop you anymore. Your tickets will be printed for you with a lot of smiles. So you have a choice. You can do the right thing and don't get any smile. So the new posters will be smile for the camera. Receive your ticket in happiness. If you do the wrong thing. So the modern security architecture must see a more professional police force, a more accountable police force, a more transparent police force. And in doing so, we are also creating regional capacity, more community intelligence system, more involvement in the communities, in the security architecture, building the community policing groups across the country, supporting them, giving them the infrastructure, giving them the tools and equipment. Building a platform for the future. All of this leads to building a strong platform for the future of our country. But none of it can be achieved without the passion and the drive. It cannot be achieved without hard work, visionary thinking, sacrifice, and commitment by all. And these are not things we could give physically. These are things that depend on all of us. To have the heart and the desire and the passion and the love for our country. To do it and do it every day. To do it and do it with the same energy, the same vigor, the same strength, the same character, every single day. And that is what we do as a government. You can depend on me as your president. That every single ounce of energy I have, and that of this cabinet, it is dedicated to the upliftment of every Guyanese in this country. Last night I met some of our good friends, and they were complaining they did not see me for 2 years in Orlando. I said to them, you forgot there was COVID. But guess what? If it takes me 2 years to walk every single community in our country, I am going to walk at home in every community, build every community, understand the problems of the community. You cannot appreciate the problem if you don't spend time with the problem. And in the process, I'm getting fit, and all those around me getting fit. So I told the ministers now, and those in government, don't worry about treadmill anymore. Every week we're going to go out for 3 or 4 hours walking. You have to get it done. The Vice President, yesterday I went to Washington to meet the Vice President because Diane is chairing the U.S. CARICOM Agriculture for Security Initiative. I came back almost at midday to Orlando, went straight to the mosque, went yesterday to meet some members of the group, and this morning on social media the President is in Orlando enjoying Maudie and Dr. I hope you all cook some duck for me today. That's the society. That is the environment. When I finish this meeting today, the first flight tomorrow morning, we're out to the UN. As I arrive, I drive straight to the Interfaith Hall, meeting Guyanese. As I finish, I wake up the next morning, go to chair a UN Educational Transformation Subcommittee. And it goes on and on and on. But I find joy in doing it because I know how committed we are as a government to the upliftment and development of the people. Right? I hear a lot of clueless people and upset me. I hear a lot of clueless people and some clueless headlines. This morning I read one. Let me tell you something. The Vice President of Guyana could land a job anywhere in the world, anytime. Let me make that very clear. The Vice President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana can land a job anywhere, anytime. I am not a friend of his. We are like brothers. And I can tell you the offers that he refused. Out of government and in government. But he chose to stay and work with us on developing the future of this country. Our Minister of Finance came back from the IMF. We have ministers who left the private sectors and CEOs and came into government. We have been committed to it. And let me be very clear. We are building a Guyana in which every single Guyanese would enjoy the fruit of our labor. Let me use this opportunity to thank all of you for your support in helping us to maintain democracy and ensure that democracy and the rule of law won in Guyana at the end of the day. We will not disappoint you. We will not disappoint your hard work and your sacrifices. And for those of you who want to come home, let me give you the example I gave to Trinidad. When you left Guyana, you left for betterment. You didn't come here and got a house as soon as you reached, and a car, and a big job. You worked hard. You made sacrifices. You were committed to what you do. So when you want to go back now to have a better life, don't tell me you want a car and a house and a key and everything. You also have to come and put the effort in. The opportunities are there. The opportunities are there. You can't come for 3 weeks and we go party for 2 weeks and then the next week you start doing some business. I hope all of you come home for cricket. Anyhow, let's not start that conversation. I got enough fuss already for Amazon Warrants. Now I just want to go through, with your permission, where is Guyana positioned in the world? Let me give you just an appetizer in your country comparative advantage in the crisis the world is facing. When we talk about climate change, ecosystem, and biodiversity, remind the world every single day that you wake up that Guyana presents 18.3 million hectares of standing forest. 87% of our land is covered in forest. This forest stores 19.5 gigatons of carbon, worth conservatively $195 billion United States dollars. That is an untapped reserve that we're not going to change. In addition, one of the major crises the world will face, the agricultural sector will face, is fresh water. Guyana has the largest, one of the countries with the largest freshwater supply and reserve. Our forest contains 4%, listen to this, 4% of all known plant species in the world. 4% of all known plant species in the world, your forest, our forest, contain. We have more bird species than the entire United States of America. Birding is a major destination, and the forest contains 3% of all known animal species. The opportunities for pharmaceutical, ecotourism, biodiversity studies is mind-blowing. For the first time in our history, we have the opportunity to catalyze the wealth for oil and gas to open up this as a major sector of the future creating high-paying, high-value jobs for future generation Ghanaians. Our forests, the estimated value of our standing forests is $500 billion United States dollars. $500 billion United States dollars. Our deforestation rate is, if not the lowest, among the lowest in the world, at 0.05%. This is the value of our forests. This is our contribution to climate change. This is what positions us to be a leader in the climate change story of the world. Mining. 36% of Guyana, approximately 76,600 square kilometers, comprised of what is called the highly mineralized crust. The potential value of our gold reserves is estimated at $45 billion United States. That is the potential value of our gold reserves. Our quarrying reserves is estimated at 28.9 million tons. Our diamond reserves is estimated at 750 million United States dollars. Our silica sand reserve is estimated at 1.5 billion tons. Of course, in agriculture, our comparative advantage is 2.15 times higher than any South American country in the area of aquaculture. And we're developing the aquaculture industry rapidly. Those of you who have relatives in Barbados, they will tell you, you're providing equipment, you're providing a capital investment, we're opening up new opportunities in Region 10. You've removed all taxes and license fees on drainage irrigation, license charges. The government is investing in this. The opportunities for dairy, livestock is enormous. Especially in Caribbean, where 80% of the food is imported. So what are we hoping for? By 2025, we're looking at increasing our poultry production from 50,000 metric tons to 90,000 metric tons. An almost 100% increase. Corn and soya. For the first time in the history of our country, we are now doing corn and soya at commercial scale. And we are projected to produce 35,000 metric tons by 2035. Vegetables. We're looking to move our vegetables production from 324,000 metric tons to 400,000 metric tons. Rice from 560,000 metric tons to 870,000 metric tons by 2025. Aquaculture. In 1 year alone, we have increased our shrimp production, or as you would call it, swamp shrimp production, from 250,000 kgs to 1.2 billion kgs in 1 year. We are positioning Guyana to be a leader in food production. Adventure tourism, upscale luxury eco-resorts, golfing, biodiversity, Ayurvedic spas. These are all areas in which we are targeting investment. 6 new hotels under construction. New eco-lodges under construction. By 2025, we have to train 6,000 persons, new entrants for the hospitality sector. This is a net effect of the investment, the public and private investment that is being made in Ghana. By 2025, the cost of electricity and energy will come down by 50% for every single Guyanese. This is what real development is. This is why the Gas to Shore project must be done. Not only for that, it will now open and catalyze opportunities to develop for the first time a modern industrial and manufacturing hub in Wales to start with under the Wales Development Authority. That will create thousands of jobs. We are still pursuing the 165 megawatts hydropower project. These are investments that we're making to catalyze the growth of the. As I speak to you, in healthcare, education, recreational facilities, tremendous investments are being made. We are building for the first time, and let me say this, we have entered a partnership with Mount Sinai to develop a comprehensive new healthcare system to be first world. Our people must have first world access to healthcare. That is the direction we're going into. With Mount Sinai, we're now working on the first modern children and maternal hospital starting. 6 new regional hospitals. The training of new doctors, specialized cancer treatment. We are making the investment to position Guyana as a leading economy on every single front. And of course, we have oil and gas. So, in terms of oil and gas, Guyana's total recoverable reserves are now estimated at more than 11 billion barrels. That will take us into a top-tier producer. But this allows us to catalyze the development of every single other sector, to expand development in every single other sector. ICT transformation. Right now we're investing in building call centers across the country because we're targeting the call center market, and people will say that's a low value market. But let me explain the value of this market. If we can train all the stay-at-home mom, or as we would like to say, the housewives, if we can train them to work in the call center industry, then guess what we're doing? Automatically, we are adding disposable income to that family that never existed before. Income that is equivalent to allowing them to repay a loan for a moderate income home. That is what this development is about. Adding disposable income, removing taxes so that you can have more disposable income in your pocket. And this is what the investment is geared towards. Education, manufacturing, housing, fantastic. So there is no other story in the world that can surpass our housing story right now. 50,000 new units. You can come and see what is taking place. But the demand is also growing. You're having more persons from the diaspora than any time in our history applying for house lots. So, whilst we're doing all of this, we're also expanding recreational and sports facilities, building new stadiums, fixing up every single community park, community roads. And we're working on a program that will bring 100% treated water to every single home on the coast. And we're doing this whilst we have the lowest rates and the most subsidized water in the whole region. You haven't heard me say anything about increasing taxes, because that is not the direction we're going in. We have to build the economy to create new forms of wealth, expand the revenue base of the economy, not by driving up taxes, but by creating opportunities. and opening up new areas, industry, commercial development. This is where we're going. Over the next 5 years, GDP is projected to grow at 57% and 25% for 2022-2023. From 2024 to 2026, real growth is forecasted to remain above 20%. But importantly, what we are seeing in all the forecasts is that the non-oil sector is also projected to grow rapidly. So my dear friends, I'm very pleased to be here with you today, to be given this opportunity to share with you your country, to bring you up to date on the development of your country, and to position your country in the global context. Because your country is playing in the global field. And we intend to make our mark in the global field. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a representative from Orange County Government, Commissioner Myra Uribe, who has a gift on behalf of Orange County Government of Mayor Demings' office, and she will also say a few words.
Thank you very much. Welcome. It's an honor and privilege to have you here, President Ali. I am Vice Mayor Myra Uribe of this wonderful county of Orange County of 1.5 million residents. And Mayor Demi kindly sent this letter to you from us, welcoming you here in a small token. And thank you for sharing in the diversity of our culture. And we're here to greet you and receive you anytime. This is your second home. So thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
All right, guys, give the President of Guyana another round of applause. I may have left Guyana 20-something years ago, but I'll ask you the question that is in my heart right now. Who's ready to go home? Right? I left 25 years ago, but when I say home, it's Guyana. 25 years later. We're going to do our question and answer segment. We have some folks who are going to have a microphone in the audience. We have that ready? Have the questions ready, huh? All right. We're going to give you guys a bit for a question and answer segment. Danny, you have the microphone? You need a microphone from us. We're going to have about 3 to 4 questions at a time. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand and we'll have someone come over with the microphone to you. The President is going to the front. He's coming down. I love that.
If we could have the 2 mic holders please approach the President so that we can have questions. Our mic holders, please. Danny.
Please be seated. Please be seated.
And Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, if you could just take your seats, we're going to make sure that our mic holders come to you so it's orderly. We have them ready to go. Please take your seats.
Don't worry, I love for the branches leading. So I'm not running anywhere. Just do the questions and then I'm here with you guys all the time with you. Okay?
All right, Mr. President, we have a question on this one. Please state your name.
It's Sharon Lam.
American, and the President, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, you earlier asked if there was anyone here from the East Bank. I am. First of all, I would like to thank you for a very inspiring presentation, for your very huge vision for Guyana. I congratulate you. It's all encompassing, the Sustainable Development Goals. That's part of the UN program for all countries, particularly developing countries like Guyana. Having said that I'm from Guyana, from the East Bank, my mother's home was recently flooded. Her house is very close to the coker that collapsed. Earlier, excuse me, the Wall Street Journal endorsed her figures that Guyana is projected to have an increase in GDP of upwards of 54%. That article also stated that the three challenges that Guyana face, which you enumerated earlier: political instability, climate change, and one that I don't think you mentioned, a small population that with a lack of skills and the capability to undertake development that Guyana needs to reach that 54% that's projected. We've got here in the United States and across the globe, in fact, an educated population. A population that needs to yes. I made out so having said all of that, I'm asking you about private litigation and construction and the development that's going on in the coastal areas of Guyana. You have a very big vision, and I congratulate you for that. It would be wonderful. You mentioned, earlier it was mentioned that you have a PhD in urban planning and so on. Please tell me, what is the government going to do about the issue of climate change and the lack of personnel to carry out the development? Thank you.
Okay, so the Wall Street Journal said we have a small population. That is true. We have a small population. But to go on to say that we lack the skills and capability is a reasoning that they got to themselves that I completely disagree with. I completely reject, out of hand, and disrespectful. I said that there are development gaps that we need to fill by importing the exports. But let me say how you contradicted your own argument. Because you said that Guyanese, and we point to many, went to all across the world, including here, and are leaders in industry. You don't lack the capability and the skills. What we lacked in Guyana was some opportunities. The opportunities to harness those skills, the opportunities to develop those skills, and the opportunities to use those skills. And that is what we're investing in. We're investing for the first time in giving the human resources of our country the opportunities to build their skills and capabilities. In this room, there are many engineers, professors, doctors who left because they did not have the opportunity. They had the capability, they had the skills, but they never the opportunity. That is why I went at length to explain that the government is investing in building the capacity and the skills so that our people will have what it takes to make use of the opportunity that is coming. And the Wall Street Journal also said that climate change is real and the country faces a threat. The Wall Street Journal said. And I went beyond that to tell you only this morning at 4:30 a.m. I was reading an article about our vulnerability index for flooding. But what the Wall Street Journal did not do is to say who is paying for the mitigation and adaptation. Where is the $100 billion that the developed world promised? We have been protecting the forest that has been safeguarding life across the world. Who paid for it? Where is the payment for it? Well, we are told you must not touch it. So no one in Wall Street Journal or China Street Journal can lecture us on climate change. Even without oil and gas, and before oil and gas, we had to take 11% of our budgetary allocation that could have gone to education, that could have gone to healthcare, that could have gone to children and the elderly. Guess what we have to take it for, my dear friend? We have to take it for drainage and irrigation and sea fence development. When we were the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, just below Haiti, when we had, in the first 2 years of government, 4 floods that wiped out agriculture, no one gave us a cent. That is why we have to generate as much revenue as possible to build the resilience. We have to build our own adaptation and mitigation strategy. And we are not naive. No one is going to finance it. We have to finance it. If you don't believe me, look at what is happening in Pakistan as I speak to you. Who is raising the money? But not talking about rebuilding. Who is raising the money? And that is why the Prime Minister made the point, very important point, that you can't get concessional financing if you're classified as a middle-income country. So you have to borrow at a market rate after all these industrialized countries created a problem for us. We must now borrow at the market rate to spend on adaptation and mitigation. And we say we live in a fair world, and Wall Street Journal is our source of authenticity. I live in a real world. I deal in a real country with real challenges, and I know the real problem. We can't deal with a problem from academia or from an academic level. We have to deal with the problem in its totality. In its totality. And that is why a group of us came together from around the world. And we're going to champion this. We're going to champion. 2 big countries. Russia decided to go to war with Ukraine. A senseless war. You know who are facing the worst of it? The developing world. We can't get grapes. You can't get feed. You can't get oil. You can't get soy. You can't get wheat. And you know how wheat is important for us. We can't eat without roti and bread. So I'm saying to you, my dear sister, that your concerns are valid. but that we are not only taking responsibility globally, but we are making investment ourselves that the world is unwilling to make. Let us ask the same Wall Street Journal why the world is not paying the $70 per ton of carbon that the financial institutions say they must pay. Carbon is trading at $7 and less per ton, when it's supposed to be trading at $70 per ton. They don't want to address that because it does not fit in their narrative. It's farcical and hypocrisy. The argument in the developed world sometimes push. And of course, they have the leverage to have the media behind them. But we in the developed world, when we fight, you're either corrupt or you're incompetent. That is their go-to words. That is their go-to phrase. But we're going to take fight on. So your contribution is valuable. But I don't want to leave without understanding that our contribution in the issue of climate change is even more valuable than the headlines we're getting. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you for giving us this opportunity and this chance of interacting. I left Guyana 45 years ago, right? And I've never been so excited about a president until today. Let's get a hand. And I drove 22 hours. I'm from Canada, Mississauga, Toronto. You dodged me last week at a wedding. I was hoping to meet you there. So I had to drive 22 hours to come here to meet you. But we'll talk about that over the curry later. For 45 years in Canada, interacting with the society, and I've been involved in society, one of their main concerns for returning to Guyana, political stability. I know you have addressed it a little bit, but if you can give us some more insight about what are we going to get with political stability. Because we don't want to go there and make an investment, and then the government changed in a few years, and everything, we lost everything, you know? I was disappointed I'm not going to get a house and a car, but once I get this political stability, I might consider go there and bring my family from Canada, a base of 500 people, and many of them is also your family. And my wife is from Lenora. So political stability is what I am after. Thank you very much.
So we have one more before you.
Hello, Mr. President. Welcome. My question is adoption from the U.S. to Guyana. When are they going to be able to sign the document so family can adopt children from Guyana that is not parents, but any siblings from parents who die and leave their children? When would that be opened up?
Thanks. Hi, sir. I'm one of those Guyanese that came to America when I was 12 years old. Because of the lack of opportunity that you spoke of, America provided that opportunity. My heart is in mental health. I want to know what is your plan for building a robust mental health infrastructure for Guyana, as it has been identified as globally as the highest suicide rate. What is the plan that you have to address that?
One more? All right.
Mr. President, my name is Glenn Achana. I live in Ocoee, Florida, and I'm so excited about Guyana today that I've never been all my life because of the way the system is going, looking at the improvements, looking at the interaction of a president. I think this is the first time I see the president interacting with the people, the children of Guyana, the schooling, the people in the interior, all races. And I have to ask you one question. PPP came back into power and we were promised that we were going to get back our favorite food from Guyana, gilbaka. I still want to know, gilbaka has been causing me personally a lot of distress. I have some friends in Orlando, that's all they harass me about gilbaka. No more duck plenty all over the place. We want not only gilbaka. Please, Mr. President, see what you guys can do to bring back gilbaka to this country. Thank you.
Okay.
President Ali, Guyana, like most developing countries, is susceptible to unequal development, where the haves and the have-nots can be further segmented, especially when there is repatriates with enormous wealth entering into the country. Can you please explain to the audience what safeguards your government is taking so that the unequal development will not create further decline in the entire country?
All right, thank you very much. Very, very good questions. You think my life easy? I got you about the problem now. Now let's start with the issue of political stability. We are working, first of all, we are working in every single community. Personally, I believe that you can have tremendous political stability if people are with you. If you do not communicate your strategy and your vision with all the people, then some of the people will not understand what you're doing or why you're doing it. That is why I started on the One Guyana journey to go to every single community. To the extent that the opposition is now complaining that I'm working too hard in their constituency, their perceived constituency. Now let me say this. You can have the best laws. You can have the best constitution. You can have the best system. But it is people who must make it work. It is people who must make it work. We will do our best. But it also requires every Guyanese to do their best. And whilst you cannot depend on the political opposition to be part of this process, to drive this process, I am depending on the people of Guyana, all the people of Guyana, to drive the change and drive the process. Because if the people stand up, as they did in 2015, let us not lose sight of this. A wide cross-section of people in Guyana stood up in 2015 and said, we will have none of it. And the more we work on creating this mindset and this culture in every single Guyanese, then political stability will be driven by the people, for the people, with the people, and that is what is going to make it sustainable. So our work is in the communities, in the hearts of people, in the minds of people, bringing prosperity to every home. On the issue of adoption, I know this is a big issue. There's some work that we have to finalize on the regulatory side. That work is ongoing. I know that we're hoping to have the system ready to process application. We're working to have that by the end of the year. So that is the time frame that we've given ourselves in terms of having the adoption board and the whole system ready to work on this issue of adoption. The issue of mental health is a very, very important issue. And I want to congratulate my dear friend on raising that issue. You see, all of us can sit in this room and be affected by some mental health issue we don't even realize. Because the system and the society has no structure to identify mental health issues early on. So we have to start from the school, have teachers trained so that they can identify and help to bring awareness and to bring this issue to the fore of society. For many years, mental health was a taboo issue in many societies. Today, mental health is a mainstream issue. It's a fundamental issue in the development of society. So we are making specific budgetary provision now for the training of mental health workers, for the protection of those suffering from mental health, ensuring they are fully integrated in society, and more importantly, from building the capacity in institutions to support those living with mental health issues. In addition to that, for the first time, we have completed a full register of every single person living with disability. And we have given every single one of them for the first time a grant. Plus, we are working with them to see how we can integrate them in the economy and to give them opportunity at earning. More important, very, very, very important on this issue, you no longer have to qualify or go to a doctor to certify that you're differently able. You're automatically placed on a register to receive the monthly public assistance by the government. That is for the first time we have done this to support those who need this. Now the catfish issue is a big issue. And if you don't believe it's a big issue, yesterday I discussed it with the Vice President. Down here, we say gilbert and they say catfish. But you know, the catfish is protected here in the local market. So we are trying to work with them on having gilbert removed from the list. I can't say how close we are, Robert.
Yeah, bro.
I know that it is on the bilateral agenda. I know that it is receiving the highest attention by the U.S. Trade Department, and we are hoping, we are working to resolving this issue. We have added trade restriction and trade barrier to the list of things that is being discussed at the Agricultural Subcommittee between the U.S. government and the CARICOM region itself. So let's hope that we get some progress on that. But I can't make any hard commitment to you as to when. It's a fishy situation. Inequality is a serious issue in every society. And that is why earlier I spoke about the vulnerability that exists within communities in the country and among people. Even within countries, among countries, there's tremendous inequality. But inequality can be broken by access. If all the people have access to good education, all the people have access to good health care, all the people have access to good recreational facilities, all the people have access to water, electricity, then it starts to help us to bridge the gap of inequality. Because inequality is not who is living at a higher level of the order. Inequality is how much access we have equally to what is termed fundamental rights or fundamental needs of every single human being. If every single person have access to shelter, food, education, health care, recreation, and a good environment, they will be happy. The happy index will increase. So inequality is not reducing the wealth from some and transferring it to others. Inequality is access to opportunities. And that is what we're doing. Women, children, and the elderly must be targeted in a specific way, a specific groups that must have targeted intervention to support them and ensure that we don't have a widening gap in equality or disparity. So I could go on for a very long time on this subject of inequality. But I will stop here and allow other questions. Thank you.
All right, next question is from Ram Singh.
Good afternoon. We have a question, and we're going to see it going on right now, and a lot of us are going to go visit Guyana for cricket, but what's going on with the Amazon warriors, man?
in Central Florida is autism, developmental disabilities. You can hear me? Hello. One of the issues that I deal with is especially one of the issues I deal with here is Central Florida with special needs and autism, for example, developmental disabilities, which they are classified differently from mental health issues. Do you have any sort of programs in place, education training, or in school systems for individuals who have autism and other developmental disabilities?
Mr. President and folks out here, my name is Mohammed Yassin, and I go to Guyana often. I came here about 49 years ago, and I visit Guyana about 4 times. If you really want to know what they're doing, visit Guyana, so that you don't have to have these type of concerns and questions. Thank you very much, Mr. President. You have moved forward Guyana 20 years from 3 years ago. So I thank you for that. I know Guyana well, and I'll tell you, security has improved, roads have improved, infrastructure has improved. So I will say to you, keep doing those type of things. Thank you very much for all your work.
Mr. President, West Guyana, the machinists, 1976. We have the training, school of Oakland, and all the estate good training machines. Today, we would have a lot of machinists and tradesmen in Guyana into America and Canada. They would like to go back, help in machining, manufacturing, and so many other industries and technology in Guyana. What are you doing, or how soon can you create facility, factory, or land, industrial processing, industrial machining, manufacturing for the Guyanese community? There was a lot of knowledge in America today for the ability to manufacture.
Hello, Mr. President. My name is Ross. I just have a quick question. I don't know if I'm going to manual or just a high level. You had mentioned about Guyanese coming back to Guyana. And my question is, what incentives are being offered for Guyanese?
Mr. President, my name is Mike Simon, and I've been able to address to you and the Minister of Education, especially Minister Peter Manhattan. I am amazed to know that the children in Guyana, the kids, they excel so much, so greatly. The scores are so high. I think we have to give them a big round of applause. To improve the standings of the university so we can compare ourselves to the Western universities in the region. Thank you.
And before the President answers,
me start with the incentive to come back. So the same incentive that drove you when you leave, the same incentives are available now in Ghana. No different. When you left for betterment. That was your incentive. If you want to come back to be part of the development, that's your incentive. Alright? You together? The same thing you have to do, right? You have to come, you have to invest, you have to do the studies, just like you did when you came here. So it's the same incentive. But we have given you a bit more. Because when you came here the first time, you were not given any tax break. When you return, you have a lot of tax incentives for everything you bring back, for vehicle. You're fully integrated in the society. We once launched a revival housing scheme. Fortunately, it has been completely taken up now, but has created new demand for us that we're working on. Amazon warriors, I told them to send for my pants and back. Now, the issue of special needs, a very important issue, my friend. Right now, we are doing what we call the training of trainers. We're working on a program to mainstream the training for teachers to work with special needs children. We're working on a new project to build new facilities in every single region so that children with special needs can be taken care of with the specific facilities that they require. And we're working also on making it easier to move them to those schools. So from an infrastructure perspective, a technical perspective, training and development, a complete needs assessment. That is what we are working on now. But we need help in that area. There is a lot of weaknesses in the area that we can use help on. Machining and fabrication. You're perfectly correct. The Port Brand Training Institute produces some of the best machinists in the world. Right now we are working on a program with an investment of more than $100 million US to move the Port Brand Training Institute into a national skills training college. Now that college is going to train every single person for the oil and gas sector, for the machining fabrication sector. Take for example, the Wales Development Estate. We'll need about 3,000 specialized welders. The opportunities for companies in this business are enormous, but you have to come and invest. You have to come and buy your land, put in infrastructure, and be part of the market. The opportunities are there. Companies from Trinidad, companies from Canada, companies from the US, companies from EU, UK are all establishing a footprint because they are seeing this as a business. For a business to develop, you have to put investment in place. You have to make the right steps. So all I can say to you, the opportunities are there. You have to make use of it. University of Guyana, yes, I agree with you. I know they are working tremendously on improving their programs, expanding their programs, improving their academic faculty. So yes, I agree with you that we need to continuously improve the quality of deliverables and outcome of the University of Guyana, but I can say to you that this is a work in progress and they're doing a lot of work in advancing this. Thank you.
Mr. President, as an American born Guyanese, I just want to know
Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm a graduate from PMTC anyway. The question I have is concerning two questions. One is, how could we get our passports renewed faster in the state of Florida? If we had to go to New York, if we want it faster. The other question is, what is the Guyana's policy on dual citizenship? Could we have the Guyana's passport faster? And the next question is, if you're a Guyana born U.S. citizen, and you have your business registered in the USA, to invest in Guyana or come to do some business here, what's the tax or taxation on such business that is foreign registered?
Hi, Mr. President. Can you hear me now? Okay. My question is, as an American-born Guyanese, how can we increase tourism to Guyana, especially for kids whose parents left 20, 30, 40 years ago and the kids have never been?
Mr. President, I am my freedom this
Hey, you alright?
in 2014. I am not one of those people intentionally migrate to participate in this country. Oh my God. Unfortunately, I still have my children. They're all grown. These, all my friends, are my relatives, are more because I live there. Now I'm telling you, I will go back home. My question is, I don't want to do my kids, every time I send them out of stuff, taxes are active, if you don't do it, it calls for food and equipment. Because the reason is security. That's what I'm saying now. Where 6 they must have known my house is taken my house. I have witnessed several robberies every day in front of me. My house is in the middle of the road. It's important like this. I live because that's one of the reasons my house is in the Middle. So I have to leave with my children. I'm not going to go this around.
It's a security concern.
And philanthropists for Guyana, for the people. They were key on the forestry regarding carbon credits, and they have a lot to offer to the country, but I don't know who to communicate with or who to contact in this regard. So what's the government body that we can reach out to have entities from the offices and philanthropists?
They owe you the DPI. You do it through the DPI. No. To the president's speech. Okay. I saw it on you.
Yeah, y'all. This is one of our problems here. This is the owner of the. This guy is the owner of the towers. Wait, so Salahuddin, you hear come from? You should tell them about the government, man. You should tell them about what is going on. I said you should have told them. All right, so on the question of tourism, one of the things that was lacking, and Salahuddin is there, he is helping us on this now too. One of the things that was lacking in tourism is product development and marketing. Now we are spending a lot of money on product development and marketing, and we're already seeing the rewards. And with a number of expats that are there, seeing the product, they themselves are becoming marketing agents for us. So tourism is taking off, and this is going to be a huge sector in the future. Now, Suriname and Guyana. If you want to help Guyana, now you must call Suriname and tell them to allow the fish folk to fish freely as they were fishing all the time. They have to do that. Secondly, on the issue of carbon credit, it was very simple. And this is one of the problems. You don't need to meet anyone. There was a public expression of interest in all the newspapers of Guyana and all the major magazines, some of the major magazines in the world, calling for persons to submit proposals on the issue of carbon credit. So that is all you have to do. Follow the expression of interest. I think that was it.
Okay,
yes.
We'll get the next one.
Okay, Mr. President. Hang on, sorry.
Maybe just before the next person, I know there are two persons here. Salahuddin and Mr. Christmasar. Both of whom are investing in different platforms. I will let them tell you firsthand their experience very quickly and what they're seeing in the country.
I have 3 like that here.
So in Orlando, on the issue of crime, in Orlando, you have 45 crime for every 1,000 persons. Just to let you know what we're living here. But in Guyana, everybody knows each other. It's amplified. They've been working aggressively on this. Crime rates has come down tremendously. And it's unfair to the police sometimes that we don't give them credit for what they're doing, because they are doing a lot of work. There's a lot of improvement in this region, but they're also doing a lot of work. That is why I said they have to improve accountability and transparency also. I can tell you right in Miami, myself and Ramirez went to a mall. I had a laptop in the vehicle. We went to the mall for 5 minutes. By the time we came out, everything went for the vehicle. But I still love Miami.
Thank you, Brother President, as I call him every day. Thank you very much for the brief introduction of me and what I'm about to say. Basically, I'm into technology and I'm into investments, and I've launched many businesses in Guyana. We're continuously launching technology projects for the benefit of services for not only government but also for private sector. But to cut and chase, Guyana is on a positive trajectory. All of us have money, experiences, and we can make a contribution to Guyana. Many of us may not return to Guyana, but many of us can go to Guyana and launch a business. Guyana is where Dubai was 20, 30 years ago. If you don't get the boat now, you don't catch the train now, you are going to miss it. From my personal experience, there are issues in doing business in Guyana, but I'll tell you what, the government of Irfaan and the current administration
is working tirelessly on a checklist, day to day, eliminating the issues that are affecting you as diaspora, whether you're going to do business or you're going to live. Guyana has changed tremendously over the past 2 years. The hope, politicians really don't do much, but what they do is provide hope. And I'll tell you this, under President Irfaan, the business community has been given hope. The Guyanese community has been given hope. And I know the diaspora is now being delivered with hope that can move Guyana forward. Thank you very much, and I'll tell you this, my experience of doing business in Guyana is something that is worthwhile. Please go and do it.
All right, now listen. Salahuddin is not a politician or a PPP man. Let me advise you. He managed a campaign against us. But this is what Guyana is about now. Bringing together the best we have. Bringing together everyone and working with everyone. And he came, he took a deep dive, he invested, and guess what? His footprint now is going beyond Guyana, in Barbados. He just launched a platform for agriculture for the entire Caribbean. So, thank you. Go down.
Why would the body is blue ones and not the
All right, listen. I think people don't want questions no more. Is there any major question that anyone wants? I'll come and talk to you. All right? We will go around now and meet people, okay? You see what's happening? Everybody coming in front now. Okay, good. Thank you very much for the questions. It was welcome, and I appreciated the opportunity to answer those questions. Thank you very much.